Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And we're going to get into the Tubi movie of the week, but it's actually going to be 4 movies because I missed 2 weeks of posting Tubi movies of the week because I had events and I wasn't feeling too good. So we're going to get into the first set of movies, which is Once Upon a Time in Philly 1 and 2. And what made me watch this film is because obviously it's from my hometown and I wanted to see how authentic it would be. Because a lot of times when you see shows that are surrounding your hometown or your hometown is involved somehow, it's usually kind of very generic, or they either overuse the things that they know, like slang terminology and stuff like that, in the film, and it just gives off an inauthentic rendition of what the city is really like. But in this movie, I would honestly say that it's a really good depiction of how guys are in the city that live a certain lifestyle. The movie is basically about a guy who's, struggling to survive, and he loses his job, and he has connections with people that, do street pharmaceuticals. So he starts getting into street pharmaceuticals, and it obviously turns out to be dangerous and deadly, and it ends up costing a lot of people their lives in the end. It's one of those films where you're probably kind of going to be lost a little bit, but everything ties together within that last few minutes of the film. No powerhouse award winning acting, but the storyline is good. And one thing that I found really funny that began to unravel in this movie is how everybody in Philly be related some kind of way, or they're either going to be related to somebody that you know, or you'll run into somebody randomly and then y'all can start talking, and then the next thing you know, y'all related. Like, that's how it really is in Philadelphia. Now, I did watch part two, but part two kind of lost me because it kind of went in a romantic direction, which I didn't expect, considering the fact that it started out as a gangster movie. So I don't know how it took that turn. But again, the storyline unfolds a little bit more in part two as far as people being related to each other, and just how dangerous that business is and how treacherous it can get, and how you can't trust nobody. I would definitely say watch part one, but you won't die if you skip part two, okay? And next we have Secret Society 2 and 3, which Secret Society 3 is not on Tubi. It is on Amazon Prime, and you may be able to find it on YouTube. I'm not sure. But I found this movie from a recommendation, and I watched 1 and 2 on Tubi, and then I ended up seeing 3 on YouTube. So I don't know if it's still up there, because I don't know if it was supposed to be up there, but that's where I seen it at when I looked it up, because I was actually just going to rent 3 on Amazon Prime because I liked 1 and 2, and I thought it was worthy enough for me to pay for it. But when I went and looked it up, I didn't have to, so I didn't. Sorry, boys and girls. And I'm glad that I didn't have to rent it, because 3 was actually the worst of all 3 movies. The storyline kind of lost me because it started getting ridiculous. Now, Secret Society 2 was cool. In Secret Society 1, one of the original girls from the film was killed. So there was a new young lady introduced in 2, and she began hanging out with a young lady that she met in the store. And although she was a regular girl and her friend was a T-girl, they both ended up kind of having similar lives as their stories began to unravel. Although Celeste was like a street hustler and a girl who played guys and dealt with men for money, That was the lifestyle that she was living. Her new friend that she met was a former victim of sex trafficking. And when she started, finally telling her story, and Celeste found out that these people were actually still after her, and then that took them on a wild adventure. And that's basically what 2 and 3 were about. So Celeste basically went from one dangerous lifestyle to another. And it's basically a story about chasing your tail when you're not living right. And not only do you get a glimpse into the T-girl lifestyle, but you also get a glimpse into what it's like to be sex trafficked. That is a lifestyle as well. I think you can learn a lot from this trilogy, and it's definitely entertaining because it takes you on a lot of twists and turns throughout, experiencing that lifestyle that they were living. And I would say that all of these movies will help you in developing your street smarts. Because one thing about the streets, everybody don't got it. It's a lot of people out here that don't have it, okay? And it's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes when you're familiar with certain things, you can avoid certain things happening to you. So if you saw any of these movies, come on down to the comments and let's talk about it. Share your thoughts and feel free to share your recommendations.